Hi, you guys. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. You never know what I'm going to cover. Often my thumbnails are misleading. I usually will put a lot more into a video than people expect, so you should always just give them a try or read the description. I'm pretty good about putting what I talk about in the description of the videos. I know a lot of people don't spend time on that, but I do. Also, if you see any Patreons out there, we have so many. Please thank them for supporting the YouTube channel, because without them, there is no YouTube channel, because frankly, the ads aren't enough. So there you have it. One thing I wanted to tell you guys in this video is that I got some juicy gossip that my Candy Barres, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Escape, Carlos King video that I did on YouTube, I think it was this week, was right. Someone was dating the producer, and so they had some tea to spill, and they sent it to me anyway. I posted it in the Patreon. If you guys want to go check it out. And by the way, on another note, real quick, is that I noticed that everybody's been wondering who the legal funder for Erica Jane Girardi's case is for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I just want to say the Patreons knew who it was all the way back in July, because I covered it. And how we know it's him, because it hasn't been released to the public yet, formally. So you have to go check that. Let's get this video started. We're talking about another sketchy Kardashian thing. Kris Jenner was involved in another sketchy business, a business school out of New York. I'm going to tell you about it. But that business school is now getting evicted from Trump Towers. Crazy. And they're using, like, all the media outlets are using Kris Jenner's face to talk about it. It's hilarious. Anyway, let me quickly tell you the story. And then I want to talk about Scott's lawsuit that he just got. Wow. That was that kind of didn't get covered that much. I was surprised. So anyway, let's talk about that too. All right, let's get going. In July of 2017, the Daily Beast did an expose exposing this business school that cost over $100,000 a year to receive a certificate that you would get. So you would go for a year and you'd get the certificate and you'd pay $100K. And so the chairman of the board of the school was Kris Jenner. And in fact, one of their gimmicks was that you could have lunch with Kris Jenner if you were one of the first 100 people to sign up for the school at this 100,000 plus price tag. Unfortunately, the Daily Beast did not take screenshots of the website they cite in the article, and it has since been pulled down. But Kris Jenner allegedly did a video that was promoting the school. And in the video, she said, "Ambition is what drives us. Passion is what keeps us up at night. The impact we want to make, now that's what guides us to our success." This is what Jenner says in the video. Now, Jenner is still selling schooling. She, I think, did a master's class that was a lot of money that people could attend, but more reasonable, like a few $100s for one master class. And actually, a friend of mine who's an Instagram influencer and a businesswoman, she owns a skincare line, she went to the class and I asked her how it was, and she said it was excellent. So I like to tell fair, stories on here. So to be fair, she really did enjoy the master class that Kris Jenner did. She also says, "The future is waiting. What is your legacy?" God, people are so easily motivated. Well, it turns out that this school is shady, shady, shady. So the deal with the school that the Daily Beast found in their investigative journalism, they revealed that the New York State Education Department said that the school was actually rebranded from European School of Economics, ESE, which was a for-profit organization that had been sued a dozen times in the US alone since 2006 for failing to make good on their debts. And one of the department had been trying for years to stop them from operating without legal approval. Originally founded in Italy in 1994 by former pop star Elio Diana and his brother Stefano. By the 2000s, it had set up campuses all over Europe and was aiming for a presence in the United States. Starting in 2005, it offered British bachelor's and master degrees via its partnership with the UK's University of Buckingham, and that relationship was terminated in 2014. But even though the degrees may have been valid according to NYSED, the school was never granted permission to legally operate as a campus in New York State. So Legacy Business School denied that they were actually the ESE school that Daily Beast found out that they really were, because they had the same CEO and everything. And they were upset, and they tried to distance themselves from the other school. But, Daily Beast is too smart for that, so it didn't work. Now, funny enough, you're not going to believe this, but guess where their other campus is? This Kris Jenner endorsed, or previously endorsed school. Are you ready? I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1, guess. Dubai. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Dubai. Did the launch. Jenner went to Dubai along with the producer of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, and also Alessandro Nomellini, who's the CEO of the company. And they all did a big flashy opening event in Dubai. But what's crazy is that this diploma doesn't mean anything. It's just training with no, your certification at the end means nothing. So it's you're paying a lot of money to be trained. And I suppose if you don't care that the certificate isn't worth something. In other words, an employer may not give it any weight because it's not considered a valid degree or certification. I suppose it's, you go, you learn, you probably learned about Jenner's secret entrepreneurship things. For example, this, I'm going to show you. Okay, so here we go. During meetings at Kris Jenner's palatial Hidden Hills, California estate, and the family's accountant office nearby, Forbes was shown tax returns detailing $307 million in 2016 revenues and personal income of more than $110 million for Kylie that year. It would have been enough to put her at number 2 on the Celebrity 100 list behind only Taylor Swift. The accountant was quick to point out, but the documents, despite looking authentic and bearing Kylie Jenner's signature, weren't exactly convincing, since the story they told of e-commerce brand Kylie Cosmetics growing from nothing to $300 million in sales in a single year was hard to believe. Then there was Kylie's financials. Revenues over a 12-month period preceding the deal, $177 million, according to the Cody presentation, far lower than the published estimates at the time. More problematic, Cody said that sales were up 40% from 2018, meaning the business only generated about $125 million that year, nowhere near the $360 million the Jenners had led Forbes to believe. Kylie's skincare line, which launched in May of 2019, did $100 million in revenues in its first month and a half. Kylie's rep told us the filings show the line was actually on track to finish the year with just $25 million in sales. So much smaller, in fact, that there is virtually no way the numbers the Jenners were peddling in earlier years could be true either. If Kylie Cosmetics did $125 million in sales in 2018, how could it have done $307 million in 2016 as the company's supposed tax return state, or $330 million in 2017? So maybe one of the classes was how to fudge financials to your benefit, which, wow, the talent it takes to pull that off. Kris went on to say, as someone who always expects the best, I was drawn to Alessandro's concept of a white glove business school, offering the finest amenities with luxuries that you'd expect from a school created for the global elite. Kanye just started a school called Donda, and he went on social media and yelled at Kim Kardashian because she didn't want the kids necessarily to go to his school. And he was like, oh, hell yeah, they're going to my school. And everybody was like, what is your weird school? And I will be doing a deep dive on that in another video. I mean, really, why do you need the finest amenities to have a school for the global elite? Doesn't that sound sinister? A school just for the global elite. Turns out it's has huge financial issues and is a bunch of bullshit. Does it surprise you that this was targeted at the global elite? So here's Jenner talking about her passions about this school in Dubai.
This is amazing. Congratulations on being back here. This is cool. I had a quick little read of it. Yeah. It looks beautiful. Thank
Look
you.
at that. Look at that first
Whoa.
page.
That's scary.
Can I start off with this? I know we will live longer and happier lives with a passion and a purpose.
Yes,
It's pretty cool.
absolutely.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I think that you need something to be excited about when you wake up in the morning, and something that you're doing that has a purpose. And if you do something that you love and you have this amazing energy behind it, it's like it makes life so much better. And you can develop something and create a career for yourself out of something that you love to do. And that's what I taught my kids when they were growing up, and it seems to have worked so far. So it'd be fun to be able to share that with a lot more knowledge and opportunity, and focusing on, it's a business school, focusing on fashion and education and finance. And I think it'd be great for kids to have the opportunity to be interns at a Fortune 500 company that they, admire.
So where the hell is the global elite in that speech? And what is she even talking about? Was that the most convoluted, made up thing on the fly you've ever heard? Like, let me think of anything positive that I could say about a school. And given what I read to you in the Forbes article, can you believe what she says about what she put in her daughters in terms of like instilling in them? I'm like, not sure this is jiving. But just so you know, after this article was released and Daily Beast outed all this shit, like the Kardashians had all their involvement scrubbed. This school. Basically, this school played a whole bunch of shenanigans with Daily Beast. They gave them a bunch of runarounds. They said, first they were like, no problem, I'll answer your questions when I get done traveling. And then they were saying that they had hired a publicist and that they should talk to the publicist. Then they happened to catch the CEO on the phone after that, and they referred them to an employee of the company that was going to handle it, and then they canceled a bunch of meetings that they said they would meet with reporters about it. Bottom line, it was like a run around the rosy here. And what ends up happening is the writers are like appalled, because they're like, why is this school operating like it's a proper college? Like and lawyers are writing letters on their behalf saying they have partnerships with existing schools where they're doing classes, but those relationships still didn't make it legal. So, the Daily Beast was like, you're taking a lot of money from people under the guise of education, and you're giving them a worthless document that they don't know is worthless. And you seem to be functioning under a licensed educator that's endorsed by New York State, but you aren't. And when they reached out to NYSED, they said this: our job is to investigate licensed, authorized schools, and if you're a bad actor, take away your license, he said. If schools aren't in compliance, Topkins said the NYSED will refer schools to the Attorney General or law enforcement. But still, no indictment. But this guy, very scandalous, very scandalous. And the fact that Kris Jenner did not do her homework on this endorsement of a school, shame on her. You're giving business classes to people and you didn't do your proper due diligence on an endorsement that you involved the producer of the Keeping Up with Kardashians in. It's really, right? Kind of a contradiction. Anyway, this school, what they did is, as like an MO, is they would hire all these big players to protect them or show off like they had a lot of funding, and then they wouldn't pay the debts. Sounds familiar. According to court records at this time, the judgments in New York State included $88,930 to a marketing agency, $4,336 to a florist, $3,528 to a limo company, $16,576 to educational services company, Cengage Learning, $7,071 to a digital production company, and $92,000 in unpaid rent to the Empire State Building, from which court records show the school was evicted. And then they ended up moving into Trump Towers, which I'm getting to. They're being evicted right now. They also had a charity event where they were going to raise money to sponsor kids into their school. And they did it at Cipriani, real fancy-wancy. But guess what? They didn't pay the bill to the event planner, to the venues, to anything. So they got sued for that. The IRS came a-knocking. They owed them money. They took a lien on the company. And that happened. They owed, I guess, close to $160,000 across different issues with the IRS. Okay, so here's the clinker. Now remember, I'm talking about Trump just from the perspective as a celebrity at this moment in time. So Donald Trump joins Kris Jenner. And this is why it's so funny, because he's now evicting them from his building. Okay, because that's his crown and his jewel in his crown, Trump Tower. It's gold, it's ostentatious, it's got great shopping, actually. Anyway, I used to love going there when I was growing up in New York. I thought that's like, oh, the fancy of the fancy, that in the Plaza Hotel. And so he must have done something like let them in under this bullshit. Listen to this. Donald Trump later joined Kris Jenner at the school's 20th anniversary ball at Trump Tower in 2014. Jenner hosted the star-studded event where Baz Luhrmann, Valentino, and Coco Rocha walked the red carpet. Trump actually gave accolades to the school at this event. Oh my God, and now he's suing them to get them out of his building. This is a glamorous event, and it's great for charity, and it's very easy to commute for me. Wow, that sucks. See? Watch out for sparkle. It's usually used to distract you. Anyway, some of the students, they just basically all said the same thing. They really did enjoy when they got instruction from good professors, but they really suffered in that they didn't know that their credits weren't worth anything. And obviously with the high price of their education to achieve their certificate being over $100,000, it was tough. Now, the school did offer to alter the arrangements of the cost for the students, but you know, some of them could afford to do that, some of them couldn't. In the end of the day, there were even professors that sued the school because they weren't paid either. So it's possible they had amazing professors come and work for a while, but then they weren't paid. Unfortunately, the Trump organization had to sue this company, Legacy Business School, and did not include Kris Jenner or the Kardashians in the lawsuit, just the company. And they're trying to get them out of the building. Yeah, they're struggling to. Trump Tower is asking the court to dispatch a sheriff or a New York City marshal to evict the school for allegedly squatting in a section of the 19th floor after the Trump organization canceled its lease earlier this summer, according to the report. In 2010, Legacy had signed a lease agreement with Trump Tower and I guess was managing to make the payments somehow all the way up to October. And then in 2021, they stopped paying rent. They paid, I think, October and November, but then stopped. And they haven't paid rent, so they want them out now and they won't leave. And they've also banned the head guy, Nomellini, from the building. So he can't even get in the building anymore. They believe that Alessandro Nomellini defrauded the investors of Legacy. So what they're saying is that he was the fraudster, not the company, and the company's paying the price. So that's what the shareholders are saying, are people that have put money into the Legacy company. Wow, what a mess. And actually, it wasn't Trump Towers that kicked him out of the building, Nomellini, the founder. It was the shareholders. They said, you're out of the company and you're out of the building. You're not allowed to enter. Oh my God, how much I wish this filter was real. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. You never know what you're going to get on my channel. Make sure you comment on what you think. I'm going to check them. Bye.